We are entering Great Smoky Mountain National Park through Cherokee, North Carolina. And obviously you can see this shows that the Cherokee Indian Reservation is just before the national parks.
Hey everyone, I'm sitting here at the Great Smoky Mountain National Park Visitor Center, and I just thought I'd just take a few minutes to explain to you really how Julie and I got here. As you know, we're off the trail. A couple things about that. When we started planning our through hike, gosh, I guess it was 6-7 months ago, none of our kids were pregnant. As we said before, Julie's parents were well. And so we decided to go for it. Around Thanksgiving, our daughter told us that she and her husband were going to have a baby, which brought us to tears almost. Well, it did. So when we started the trail, we obviously knew that she was going to have a baby at the end of May. But whether we were ignorant or innocent, maybe a little of both, and we thought that we could still do the trail around the baby, so to speak. And so did our daughter. All of our kids wanted us to get back on the trail and to do it. And so we went for it. And again, I think we were pretty innocent in all that. But once we got going, after about 17, 18, 19 days kind of a thing, the reality really hit us, and it also hit my daughter. She wanted us home, not just at the birth of the baby, but in these weeks preceding the birth. Especially wanted her mommy. And you know what? We wanted to be there. We didn't want to, I don't know what we were thinking, that we could just go back on the trail, so to speak. You know, this is one of the greatest moments in our lives, and we want to be a part of it, to be all of it. So that decision, especially after we spoke to our daughter, to get off the trail and to get home a lot sooner to be with her and the family, was a pretty easy decision, I got to tell you. I mean, as I said, it was the easy decision to be with our family, but part of our hearts was still a little sad to be leaving the trail. But it was really a no-brainer. We were going to be with our family, no doubt about it. You know, there were some other things as well that helped us make that decision. Not that we needed anything else, but Julie's feet were really hurting her to the point where she really couldn't walk. So when we put all that together, we decided that we would come off the trail. But yeah, when we started the trail, we knew our daughter was pregnant, but we thought we could make it work. Silly us. So we still have some family obligations. There's a family wedding in Memphis that we really want to go to. And so what we decided to do when we came off the trail, it just didn't make sense to us to drive all the way back to Maine. So we spent a few more days with our oldest daughter, Megan, and she lives in Boone, North Carolina, and we were happy with that. And then we also decided to come here to the Great Smokies, to the National Park. We're doing some car camping, 3 days at a campsite, which we're enjoying that. So we're kind of staying in the area so we can still get to Memphis by early April. So that's why we're at the Great Smokies. And it, by the way, it's awesome. You should really see it if you haven't.
At the Visitor Center, there is a fantastic farm museum. It shows an idea of what it was like to live on a farm in the valley. Lots of outbuildings, the farmhouse, spring house, hog shed, corn crib. It's really well done and a great time to bring your kids. Inside the Visitor Center is a topographical map of the mountains. Very helpful people who are at the visitor desk. Some terrific signage of what to do in the Smokies. This particular couple of days, there's fire damage and high winds, so many of the trails are closed. Of course, there's a nice gift shop, and you can also see there's a terrific little museum, Voices of the Smokies, showing you what it was like to live here as early pioneers, and of course also the Cherokee were the first people here, and it explains that, and then also explains the Trail of Tears. President Roosevelt created the CCC, and they helped to make many of the national parks, infrastructure, roads, bridges, etc. And then it also shows when the park was dedicated in 1940 by President Roosevelt, and that was at Newfound Gap. All right, so back from where we started way up at the creek, the water continues up, and then eventually we'll go straight down because the water pressure is heavy, comes down, and there would have been a pipe seemingly underground that would turn this turbine, which then in turn would turn the millstone, and the wheat would be separated and made into flour. Just an incredible invention. So this is our little campsite in Smoky Mountains campground, part of the Smokies. It's one of the few campgrounds that are open in the winter months, and strategically placed right by the bathroom with flush toilets and running water. So we have had a really good walkabout, and now we're going to take another adventure. We have spotted some wild elk, although these are tagged, so they're not as wild as they could be, but they're being monitored certainly. That one is just giving a good rubbing on the tree, and then there's a couple more over here. Beautiful. They're different than elk we have seen out in Yellowstone and Rocky Mountain National Park. Just a different variety, I guess. And plus they haven't gotten all of their fur back yet.